Well, good evening. Welcome along to. Sorry, I'm just going to turn my other screen off because it's driving me insane. Apologies if that's in the background. Welcome everybody to NUFC Talk TV. Obviously, this is the post-match chat where we obviously have everybody's views on obviously what's happened today at the Vitality Stadium. So before we get involved, and obviously I've got my usual crew with me, and obviously welcome Rowley and Roy and the Mighty Win, and we may have Amrit with us in a moment also to give his views. But before we go into and welcome everybody personally, what we'll do, we'll just do some housework. We'll get all the bits and pieces done, and then we'll crack on with the show. So again, welcome to everybody watching across all platforms. If you're watching on X, stop for a second, join us on YouTube if you've got YouTube, and obviously come and smash the like and subscribe on there if you aren't already. Thanks to everybody working in the background, doing an amazing job as normal. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're on YouTube and you're supporting us, and that also goes for you guys in the chat and also my panelists. It just gives us
I'm just about to.
I'm just about to do it. But
don't forget to subscribe. It's totally free. Bang that bell for any future content. We do 7 days a week through the days, and in the evenings there's always content talking about the tune as we get it. If you want to support the channel, help us grow, then you can become a member for a small monthly fee, and that gives you behind the scenes content as well as a chance of winning prizes. You can also enter us in our prediction competition. We have had 2 predictions already on there, so you are a little bit behind, but you can still come on board if you like. If you've got a question for myself or anybody in the panel, then please put a Q in front of that question just so we can highlight it and star it for some point during the chat. But again, apologies if we don't mention everybody's views. There is a lot of chat amongst yourselves, and obviously we have to be careful. We are sometimes very emotionally attached to these games, and sometimes, like I say, we can't show all of it. But again, if you want to guarantee it being mentioned, then use the $ and follow the instructions. All new members or gifted memberships will be highlighted and thanked as we go along. So, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Look at you, we had Toon shirt in the background, Amrit.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't fault you. You still got the passion.
Still got the passion. Still got the passion.
Indeed. Still got the passion and the drive. Can't fault you, my friends. Can't fault you. Welcome along, Amrit. First time we've seen you on the show. It's lovely to have your views. Obviously, we watched it live on Sky Sports today. Bit of a hard watch to commentate on because obviously it's very rare, and I'm going to say it openly, it's very rare that we see a performance like that where you find it difficult to single one good player, because it seemed as if across the board we were struggling with whatever's been tried in the training ground, whatever tactics Eddie Howe had set out. It seemed as if we were having problems holding on to the ball, distributing the ball, doing all those things. So what I've done, I've as I always do every week, I'm going to just have a look at what I've put down in my chat. Just again, this is my opinion, and like I say, I don't want to be negative. I'm trying to pick out as many of the flaws, but as many of the positives as I possibly can from the performance today. And I know some people find that difficult to cope with because we're all very passionate supporters, but sometimes you can only put down what you see, and this is what I saw. And guys, you can have. I want your opinions from the game yourself once I've done my little spiel. And I've put down a poor performance by most of the starting 11. Wanted far too much time on the ball in midfield, some poor decision making, seemed to be easily knocked off the ball and far too deep at times. No one showing for an outlet, poor passing when the opportunity arose, but the only positive thing, Newcastle remained unbeaten in 2 games into the season following a 1-1 draw at the Vitality against a well-organised Bournemouth team, especially from their right winger, Semenyo. Neto also performed well in the Cherries' goal to deny us what can only be called a smash and grab performance. A handball disallowed goal for the Cherries in extra time saved our blushes, and continues to be one of them grounds that haunts Eddie Howe since leaving. Some of our match stats, and now I'm going to put this up first because I found this really difficult to look at, and when you look back at the game, and I've since watched the extended highlights, it does show a little bit of clarity, I suppose. So 61% to 39% possession to the tune, so we had more possession. We had 14 shots to Cherry's 16 shots. We had 5 shots on target to their 4. We passed 490 complete passes to their 318. 79% accuracy in them passes to their 76. 9 corners to their 8. Touches in the box, 31 to their 25. Now, when I read them out, it doesn't sound as if we've had a really bad game. So is it us as supporters, with the 500 million that's been spent on players, expecting too much of what we're seeing? So before we go any further, and like I say, we'll go into Eddie's interview in a minute. I'm just going to come round the panel, get what you guys saw and how you perceive the game to be. And I'm going to start with you, Win. Fire away, mate. See how you
everybody's heard my views. Let's go, because the lads that weren't on this afternoon, give them a...
All right, go on then. We'll
let them have the first go before I come in with me 2 penner.
All right, go on then, Roy. Tell me how you feel. Keep it
felt,
clean.
Yeah, I just felt like there was no manager there. It was just random football for 70 odd minutes. And I know the stats were showing, but I know the stats were showing a high percentage, but Longstaff will pass the ball 3 meters next to the guy next to him. So that's one pass. The guy gets it. That's 100%. So it was a lot of I don't know what's happened to the high intensity and the pressing we used to do. That's gone. It's completely gone. And we missed it last year. I started thinking, was it because we used to have Joe Willock playing on the left with Joe Linton all the time that season when we were doing it, when we finished 4th. And Gordon wasn't getting a game. Started coming in and out of the team because we just signed him in January. And then, so I have no clue. And obviously, poor Murphy, I think he was probably the hardest worker in that first half, running up and down, and there was nothing happening. Tino had a poor game as well. As you said, I'm trying to think, who am I going to give the highest points to, or who was the best player of this game? But I'll say it once we go to the points.
Okay, mate, no problem.
The player points, yeah, but
I mean,
point gained. It's a point gained.
Yeah,
when you get something and you play absolute rubbish, it's a good sign.
I'm going to apologise before the guys. You can just see my camera, unfortunately, has gone off. I'm having terrible trouble. I was trying to get it sorted before the game. I thought I had, but it's converted back to my my laptop computer, which is below me. So apologies for looking directly up my nose.
What a lovely nose!
What a lovely nose! So yeah, what we'll do, Rowley, we'll come round to you, my friend.
Okay, but this game, how can I sum it up? If you allow me a slight musical interlude, it can. That game was the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, right. Is that what you were trying to play? It's probably just as well you didn't. It's probably just as well you didn't roll. You would have got copyrighted. But that's
why we did a few of this.
I'll do it for you.
We were shocking in areas for periods of the time of the game. We were bad in others, but when we made the changes and brought Harvey Barnes on and Lewis Hall, we actually played some really good football. And if it wasn't for Neto in goal for them, we'd have won that game. Not that we should have won it, but he made 3 top draw saves that saved them. So, I'm not too despondent. Obviously, it's disappointing to have a performance like that. But just let's get it in perspective. We've got 4 points and we still got 36 games to go.
Amazing, isn't it?
One of my WhatsApp groups, someone said, is that a precedent for away matches? Is it a must-win match? Man, it's great to set a precedent, but there are no must-win matches on the second game of the season.
It's funny you should say that, Rolly, because there was a question in the fans forum on WhatsApp, and they said, "Is this a must-win match?" And I put yes. ... Maybe not. ... Of course not. It's the second game of the season.
Yeah.
So you can take it either way you want.
Are going crazy that we didn't beat Bournemouth and we played badly. And I think it's not like there's 3 or 4 games of the season, and that's the difference between winning the league and not, or getting to the Champions League. It's
Exactamundo.
It's an important game. You want to win it, but
of course you do.
It's not the end of the world if you draw a game away from home, which you, on the balance of play through the whole game, you probably should have lost and could have won.
Well, I've just showed you the stats there, Rowley. Yeah. And on them stats, it doesn't look as though we were that bad. That's what confuses you.
That's why you need the eye test.
Absolutely.
You look at the game last week against Southampton. We won that 1-0. We were shocking bad in the first 15 minutes, then it was backs to the wall after Shah got sent off. You look at the stats there, you'd think that Southampton should have absolutely walked all over us. But they only had 1 decent shot on goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what the stats say, it's what you actually do.
Yeah, that's so true.
Big shout out to Michael McIntyre. Thanks for the super chat, Michael.
It's like completed passes. If you've got the centre half passing between themselves, they're still completed passes. It doesn't mean anything.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he's saying stop the singing and talking about me, or stop the singing, tune. Yeah, you're not a bad judge if you're telling me to stop singing.
Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I agree with what you said, mate. I mean, like I said, I've got a table to come on the screen in a minute, just to prove all the no-hopers, if you like, a little bit wrong, because that's the only thing you can cling on to. It's very rare you'll have a team of 11 players poorly as we've done today, where we couldn't string passes together, we couldn't link up play very easily. And I don't know whether, again, that was something that they've tried and tinkered with on the training ground to put something into the system, and it hasn't worked. And Eddie has to now go back to the drawing board, because sometimes that can happen when you're changing a system, bringing new players in, and you want them to work in a certain way. We certainly didn't have anything on the left-hand side. Anthony Gordon didn't look involved. Kelly obviously wasn't part of the process to be involved down the left-hand side. We tried to do a little bit down the right-hand side, but it was more huff and puff rather than actual anything happening. There was a lot of misguided passes.
Hold it. Anthony Gordon wasn't involved.
Well, not much.
Equaliser?
Hold on, you can't just go on an equaliser, matey. I'm on about the entire game. Yes, and that was after the substitutions.
You can't say he wasn't involved when he gets the equaliser.
No,
I'm not saying.
You say he wasn't involved, but the whole team was.
Anthony wasn't involved.
Yeah, I've just said that, and I'll come to the points in a minute. Amrit, come on, matey, give us your view.
Hi, how's it going, everyone? Thank you very much for having me on the show, and I just want to say you're doing a great job, everyone. So keep it up. Today, when you woke up in the morning, I don't know, you're going to sit there and think, we wanted to get 3 points. yes, Bournemouth are a bit of a bogey side for us. I predicted 3-1 to Newcastle, and I agree with Roy. I agree with most of the points that I don't think it was managed in the right way. I think we came out well, but we started to slide away. We started to lose the ball more. We started to lose the 50-50s. We came out in the second half, much of the same. We made the substitutions. We started to press. We got the equaliser. It's not good enough, really, though, because if you think about Bournemouth, the last how many ever games they've had, I think 8 games, and correct me if I'm wrong, five draws or 5 losses and 3 draws, or the other way around. We're a team that should be battling for Champions League. At the end of the day, with performances like that, we're not going to be involved in that battle if we continue to play the way we're playing.
I think you're doing Bournemouth a disservice, though.
No,
they're not outside. Right? That record is mainly from last season, where they finished quite well. And everything's up in the air the first sort of like 4, 5, 6 games of the season because no one knows what any team's actually going to be like. So, and they're a Premier League side, so you've got to be at it or you're going to get beat.
Absolutely agree with you. And again, there's no easy Premier League fixture. We got 1 point away from home. We should be happy that we got the point in the end because the game, could have went away from us. But generally, we need to start winning these games. And how we do that. And away from home, our performances haven't been great last season as well. So I'm with Roy on this. I think Eddie Howe needs to do something. We've got a cup game on Wednesday. If we play like we played today, when we're going to get beat.
I'll tell you what, we'll just make
away from home as well.
Yeah. We'll stop there, and what we'll do, we'll have a listen to what Eddie Howe said post-match with his interview, because obviously we can get a gist of what Eddie Howe saw, and obviously then we can bring in some more comments, whether you agree, whether you disagree. Let's just listen to this.
Yeah, I thought we started the game really well. I thought first 15 minutes we were the better team, took control of the game. I think then we lost that control and it was a bitty end to the first half. Second half, probably with the changes we made, the substitutions we made, we improved. And yeah, we had a number of chances. Their goalkeeper made a number of good saves, I think.
You mentioned that gap, the first 15 minutes that were very strong, but then you lost control of the game. Why do you feel that happened?
Well, I think we were passing the ball really well early on. I think there was a really good energy to the team. But Bournemouth were a difficult team to play against. They break up the game very well. They transition really well. As we said before the game, they got pace in the team. And I think it was 1 or 2 of those transitions. And suddenly we became a bit more stretched than we were. It was end to end. I mean, it was a really fast-paced game. I think both teams gave everything to try and win. There was chances for both teams at the end. I think overall we're pleased with the point and pleased with the comeback. Yeah, I thought we started the game really well. I thought...
So, having listened to that, is it something that you agree with?
Well, he's spot on. No, he's spot on. We started the game really well. And we finished the game in the first 10, 12 minutes and the last 15 minutes. There was only one team in it.
He's describing what's happened, though. He hasn't said why it's happened.
Why did we come off? Why did we drop off?
What he didn't say was that the reason we dropped off is because we started yet again misplacing passes. We were giving the ball away time after time.
But it was the same the second half with the same players. Nothing changed until he did the changes. And he took Kelly off, Hall came on, Barnes came on, Longstaff came off, Willock came on. And it changed. And those players that came on are better than the ones that came off. So he needs to start now and play those players every game.
I think the reason that he started Kelly is it Senesi on that right side?
On the right, yeah.
Yeah, he's a very tricky.
No, you've made the same mistake as me there, Rolly.
Semenya.
Senesi was the centre half.
Semenya.
Semenya's the right winger.
I made that mistake during the commentary.
Yeah, he's a very tricky winger, and I think that because Kelly is defensively better than Hall, I think that he started with him at left back. That sort of played into Semesi's hands, because when Hall came on, he was pressuring him higher up the pitch, and he was higher up the pitch so that he had to actually do a bit more defending and wasn't as dangerous. And I think that because of the first half, the first 10, 15 minutes, we weren't bad. Then it sort of disintegrated a lot of passes. He thought, well, give him 10 minutes or so in the second half. And if it carries on like that, we make the changes, which is good management. He didn't wait till the 70th minute. He figures, right, well, give him a bollocking at half-time or whatever he does at half-time. See if anything changes. If it doesn't, we'll make these changes. And they worked. We started getting better, and we actually played some really good stuff for a period in the second half. And
we ran out of time, didn't we?
Sorry?
We ran out of time in the end. You know.
Yeah.
We were looking good.
Yeah, we were lucky to win, to be honest, because the goal that was disallowed, when I saw it in slow motion, I thought they're not going to overrule that. But they did. I'll take it.
But the thing was, I thought it had definitely hit his head, but it definitely didn't. Have you got that to bring up, Gary?
What's
that? I thought it hit him on the sort of like where the sleeve ends, but it was touch and go.
I've actually got it.
I've got it here, mate.
Right there on Freeze.
Wait, I'll put it up on the screen, buddy. I'll put it up on the screen, and then we can.
Just in case you couldn't get it.
Well, it was Sky Sports that put on the diagram about the shoulder area, and below that, it's definitely hit his bicep, doesn't it? Or between his bicep and tricep.
Now, if he'd got his head to it, and it had then gone off his bicep, that to me is a goal. The point is, he didn't get his head to it. It went straight off the arm, and it was Longstaff's momentum forward onto the arm that put it in the net.
Yeah.
It wasn't Longstaff, because there's Dan Burns. Longstaff was off.
Dan Burns, sorry, yeah.
No, it's Dan Burns.
Sorry, Dan Burns, yeah. I'm just looking at what looks like ginger hair.
He should have had the ball anyway.
Yeah.
Because he seemed to stoop, didn't he?
Yeah.
Aye.
Well, it's with his shoulder over the top of his. It just stops him jumping, doesn't it? So
it's very
clever. It's very clever. But what you can see here, if you look at anatomy, is from the crease of the elbow on the humerus, your bicep would be underneath here. So your shoulder point will be literally 3/4 of the ball. So what they will have judged, because you can't see the shoulder in this picture at all. So what they would have judged is what part of the arm below the shoulder, is where they are. So if you go, like Wins just said, centre of the ball there, it's the upper part of the bicep. I can understand. I mean, to be fair, if that was us that scored in those goals, we'd all be questioning exactly the same as what they were.
I mean, as I said, I thought they weren't going to overturn it.
Well, I questioned it during play of where the ball's hit his arm, and it was only when I saw the still that you could actually guarantee that it was, and I would say guarantee, I would have said an 80-20 opinion of where the ball actually made contact with the arm, because again, it's not a clear picture, and this is where it becomes subjective, and this is what I keep saying about everybody that makes these calls, whether they're up in the box or whether it's the referee on the field. The referee on the field gave the goal. It was VAR that overturned it, and that's what VAR is there to do. And they got that actually spot on today.
I was going to say, I don't think that's subjective. I think that's objective, because the ball hits him on the arm.
I can see why.
But what I'm saying to you is, you can't actually, from every angle that the camera was, you can't see it clearly hitting the arm. That's what I'm saying. So you have to make an opinion on where the centre of the ball is in regards to where his anatomy is because of the shape of his body, Win. That's what I'm saying. So as much as we're saying, yeah, it's objective because you can see it directly, it can still be an opinion.
You can see where the centre of the ball is on the far side.
Yeah, but you can't see where his shoulder
is.
But you can't see where his shoulder is. That's the argument. His shoulder could be leaning forward, and it could have come off the knuckle of the shoulder, which isn't handball. And that's why I said it becomes very argumentative, because you can't see where his leading shoulder is.
Well, I disagree. You know exactly where the centre of the ball that's hit his arm is. Yeah, and as you say, it's about 4 inches from the elbow, 5 inches.
Yeah. Well, if you look from where I'm pointing here now, that would be mid-centre of his bicep, depending on how long your arms are. You got me? Because there's the crease of
the beginning
elbow.
of the
I'd
biceps.
agree with that.
I would say that is where the bicep. If you was to crunch, that is where your bicep is. But that's what I said. Because you can't see what angle his arm's leaning into, there's always going to be somebody that could say, "Oh, that's hit his shoulder," and that's what I'm saying. It's not as clear as cut as we all think it is. And like I said, sometimes you have to really look at these. Like I say, I'm glad you sent this still for me because it gave me a chance to actually really have a look at it. And yes, you can tell by the way his arm is that it's hit the upper part of his arm. And that's why I said the ball isn't flat, the ball is round, isn't it? So it's that point of connection.
Yeah.
So it is one of those. Like I think we've got away with one, if I'm honest with you. Even though it's the correct decision, I think that could have been quite easily mistaken to have come off the knuckle off the shoulder.
Yeah.
We've got all the Sky Sports commentators saying it's definitely a goal. It's definitely a goal. It's definitely a goal. I don't agree with that at all. I think
exactly. When you were here, Amrit, they had the silhouettes with which is the definitive thing from the rule book.
That's right. Yeah.
Where the sleeve ends. On you've got your little man with the sleeves end, and the sleeves end immediately below the bite. Anything lower than sort of 2 inches off the actual shoulder blade, anything below that is a handball.
Yeah, and from that still, it's fairly evident that it did hit a part of that area.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think that's subjective. I think that's objective.
I agree with you.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying it's wrong what you're saying. We're not. What I'm saying to you is because of the angle of the shoulder coming forward and in that position, you can't tell where that shoulder piece is, and that's what I said. You have to look at it and anatomically and say potentially it has gone in our favour. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying potentially that could have gone the other way because there was that question mark of where his leading shoulder was. And if it comes off the knuckle of the shoulder, then it's a goal because that's not handball. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. We've had the decision, and that's great. Right, let's go on to player individual ratings. I'll put the team up on the screen because obviously then people can have a look at the squad. I'm sure by now it's etched into everybody's memory bank. And we'll go from the defence, and I will give you guys a chance to give your impressions, if you like, starting in the defence with Nick Pope.
You haven't got yours on.
Huh?
You haven't got yours on yet.
My what?
Your scores.
No, that's what I said. I've taken my scores off because last week everybody was saying don't put your scores up. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to put my scores up. I'm having mine in the background. So I'm going to listen to you guys, and then I'm going to give you my verdict and see if we can come up with an agreement. Starting with Nick Pope, then. Win.
7.
Okay.
I mean 6 or 7 because some of his kicking was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
But he made stops when he had to, and a lot of good stuff as well. 7.
You've gone with a 7. Roy?
6. One good save maybe, and he caught a few crosses, but distribution shocking. We've got 5 keepers, and this is our best keeper, and he can't kick a ball. Yeah, 6. 6 is good.
Rowley?
Yeah, but it's because of the kicking. It's got to be a 6. Everything else he was really good at. Made a couple of really good saves. Was pretty commanding in his box, but like kicking just let him down. It's almost like because the defense was a little panicky, he panicked a lot.
Yeah.
And his kicking was dreadful.
All over the place.
Worse than it normally is.
Yeah,
it's true. Amrit?
I'm going to say 7. I think he threw the ball quite well. He can throw the ball quite well. He threw the ball a couple of times to the halfway line. He came out sweeper keeper. He made a few decent saves. I don't think he did anything majorly wrong, apart from, yes, we saw those those balls that were hitting into the centre of the midfield where we were losing the ball and then they were attacking again, and that was when we were going through a bad spell. But I think overall he played sound.
So we've got 2 6s and 2 7s. So I'm the final denominator then, I suppose. I put down Poper as a 6. A few good stops, but he looked very shaky with the ball at his feet. One big save early on with his feet and punched or claimed a couple of crosses. So I'm very much like you guys to a degree. Nothing majorly different there. So I'm going to go. I suppose go with the 6.5, as you've both got 6s, but I'm going to go.
No,
with
because
6.
I was
You don't
verging
like
from
halves.
the 6 to the 7, so I'll go with the 6.
Okay, so 6 we're going with. So 6 for Pope. Tino next. Tino Livramento. Win.
6 again. Not good, but he did have those 2 fantastic carries when he beat his man and came away with it. But other than that, not good, I'm afraid.
We've got a super sticker from Connor. Thanks, Connor, for your super sticker. We seem to be more worried about the opponents than our own game, Connor says. And to a point, I kind of agree with that. We seem to really struggle when it comes to playing against teams that do this mid-block, especially when they come 4-2-3-1. It was a system that we struggled with last year. And like I say, it seems to be a system that we are struggling with this year from what we've seen. So there you go. Roy, marks on Tino?
Yeah, I'll give him a 6. He struggled. He was good in the first 10 minutes, and then he drifted away, and he just couldn't handle them pressing him. And then when he came off and Trippier came on, the team changed, which is worrying now, because next week, who's it going to be? Him or Trippier? Yeah, so just 6 for Tino.
Okay.
Today.
Well, the thing about trips is, of course, that's another 20 minutes he's got in his legs.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not nice to see him at the end, though, was it, boys? I don't know whether you've seen it.
No.
Yeah, he was crying.
I'll put it up in a minute in the chat. Yeah. It wasn't a great picture of him because he gave his shirt away, and he was very, very emotional. So it could be something, could be nothing. It could be just everything that's happened to him, and obviously all the press that have opened up his story. So I'm not going to read too much into it, but we'll see that in a second. Rowley, Tino.
I thought it was poor today. It's the worst I've seen him play. In the goal, he was just watching. Wasn't tracking back. I'm going to give him a 5.
Yeah. Cool. Amrit, yourself?
I'm with
Tino.
I'm with Riley on that. 5 for me. He was to blame for the goal. He should have come across and cut that off. As a fullback, that's how you play. Unfortunately, he didn't have that positional aspect to his game. So 5 for me.
Okay, so just a counter statement. If I could just give you guys a counter statement on what obviously you've just said about Tina. If the gaffer has asked you to bomb up and down the right wing, because we've got obviously 3 centre halves played, and we could do a system like we tried to do last year, where you bring in the lads across a little bit. Yes, he was found out of position, but is that his fault? If he's trying to do a job as a, to try and progress the ball up the park. I'm quiet. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are the things that you have
to... It's still down to him. He's on the pitch.
There you go. And that was what I was expecting.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you need to know when to go and when to start.
Doesn't matter what the instructions are. You've got to react to what's happening.
Yeah. So just going on where I've put him down as a 5. Made a decent start while we were on top for the first 20 minutes. Some very wayward passes. Sometimes looked awkward with the ball, seemed stuck under his feet, but switched off for Tavernier's goal. And as again, reactive and out of position, replaced by Trippier before the hour mark. So I agree with everything you said. I'm not disputing. But all I'm saying to you is, I think sometimes when you're a little bit naive in defence, you can stick in your memory bank, if you like, what the gaffer's asked you to do. And sometimes it can be the most negative thing, because you never seem to play one way or the other. You seem to be stuck in between a defender and a counter attacker, if you like. Emil Kraft, win.
Six. Okay. It wasn't terrible.
No.
He did a few good things. I don't think we had this debate during the match. I don't think it was him that was to blame for their goal. I think it was Tino.
Yeah.
But he wasn't terrible. He came in. He did some stuff. 6 for me.
Okay. Roy?
I'll give him a 7 because he for me he was probably the least out of the back 4 who's done mistakes today. Tidy. You don't expect much from him, and he's just done a job again. So I'll give him a 7. He's best of the worst, or the best of the worst.
Just on this subject, I don't mind giving him a 7 at all. What I'm saying is, you based the 7 on the fact that you weren't expecting too much anyway.
No.
Was that not key in at the Euros?
No,
everybody's saying he did brilliantly.
Yeah, best of the worst as well.
Because they didn't know what to expect, and everybody else was shit, and he looked okay. So everybody says he didn't do mistakes though.
He's not to blame for the goal or the disallowed goal.
No, not at all. I said that.
Okay.
Yeah, so 7.
That's okay, because you're normally marked down. That's very good.
I'm normally lower than
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Kraft?
Again, he wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. I'd give him a 6.
Okay.
He was there.
He was there.
Yeah, he was there. Didn't make any mistakes that I could see, and he's just there's not much I can say about him because he's not a big part of the game.
No,
he did his job reasonably well.
That was the one instance when he really covered a lot of yards to get back and put the ball out.
Yeah, I mean,
that was kind of the only thing of note that he did, which is why he's above a 5. I think everybody starts with a 5. If you're really terrible, you go below a 5. If you're, par for the course, you're a 5. If you do a bit more than the 5, you're a 6. If you get much better, you're a 7, 8, 9. And that's why I give him a 6. He did more than enough to justify his plays, but not that much more.
No.
No, I agree. I mean, I rate Emil Kraft. He's coming in alongside Dan Burn, and we did fairly well in that position. He did. I think a 6 for me. He's not a bad squad player for us to have in our group. He's worked well. He worked hard. He a few good bits in the match, but nothing, nothing amazing. So yeah, 6 for me.
Yeah, cool. I've put something very similar, to be fair. I've put down 6, a little reactive at times defensively, and again, that's a lad playing out of position, if you like, because he is only a makeshift right centre back. And what was evident from the outset, we really missed Shaw's quality and composure to pick passes and play out from the back. Kraft let the ball bounce a few times before clearing. 1 goal and a near miss at the back post, if you remember. Could question his role in the team, but did a decent job out of position. So, as much as I agree with you, I still think a lot of his time, if you watch him, he's very much reactive to the centre forward. He gets too tight, in my opinion. And now we can't pull back, remember, because the laws have changed. Anybody seen grappling in the box, there's going to be a penalty straight away. And I think sometimes he goes too close rather than giving himself a yard and reacting to the player's movement. Now, both goals were back stick, so you could say, yeah, Tino for the first one. But I do believe the chance they missed does fall on Kraft, because he was undecisive of where he should be at the time. And that's how I saw it. So I'm going to... You happy with a 6?
Yeah.
If 6 is good.
The gaffer's not like.
Oh no,
the old man is obsessed with gay man.
Dan Burn win.
Same 6.
What's your thoughts on Dan? You're going with a 6.
Yeah.
Anything to?
It didn't do anything desperate, but didn't do anything splendid either.
Okay. Roy?
Yeah, 6 as well. Not really.
2 good clearances.
Until Botman's back, he should start every game.
Yeah. Rowley?
I'm actually going to give him a 7, mainly because he had a really good last-ditch challenge when they were going to. They should have scored in the first half.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. That was a fantastic.
Yeah, I think without that, it would be a 6. So that was at the time when we were struggling. I can't remember if we were 1-0 down at the time. It's just before they scored, but it was a goal-saving tackle. So I'd keep that. That's why I'd have it as a 7.
Yeah, I forgot about that, to be honest.
Amrit?
Yeah, 7 for me as well. I think he did really well with those last-ditch challenges, and he also posed a goal threat as well with that header, which he leaped up really high for that, and almost scored for us. So, we can't really ask much more from a centre-back, just to be there when he needs to be there. I think Dan Burn played really well. I'll give him a 7.
To be fair, I can't disagree with anything you've said. I'm going to tell you what I scored him. I started with a 7 because of his defensive work and obviously he had a couple of chances for us. But I dropped it down to a 6, and the reasons why I dropped it down to a 6 was his silly yellow card that he picked up. And yet people are going to say, you know, he's took one for the team.
Whoa, that wasn't
He took one for the
that
team.
was brilliant.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, but that could come back to haunt us. That's all I'm saying. We've still got players in the defensive line. We, at this present moment in time, we do not need to be picking up silly yellow cards when there is no issues. Yes, if it was a,
I don't think it was a silly yellow card.
No,
I don't think it was a silly yellow card at all. If he hadn't done that, they could have been away.
3-on-2.
Yeah, they could have, but they
was
wasn't.
a fantastic one for the team.
The thing is, he assessed the situation and he took the hit for the team, you know, and it was important that he did that at that time because we were most of our players were in the box.
Well, just coming out of it. He was in the box.
Yeah, no, just coming out of the box, but then they were ready to attack. They could have easily counter-attacked, and we could have been facing another goal conceded.
But we still had 3 in defence, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. All I'm saying to you is,
did we have 3 in defence? I'm not even sure we did.
There was 3 guys behind, in front of the ball as they were ready to break.
Lewis Hall was
I thought it was going to be 3-on-2. From what I looked
all I'm saying to you is, yes, he's took one for the team, and yes, it stopped them from progressing down the park. But all I'm saying is, all of these little yellow cards will come to bite us on the bum when we don't need it, and that's all I'm saying. Well, so I dropped it down to a 6, but I'm more than happy to take it back up to a 7 because of what he's done for the team. I've made one vital intervention in the second half to stop out their cutbacks because it was a cutback that they were trying to do, and then it was clear on goal. Picked up a silly yellow card that could come back to haunt us. Could have scored at the other end, and overall a very steady performance. So I'm happy to go with the 7. All I'm saying to you is there's going to be a couple of weeks down the line where we've got players on 4 yellow cards and potentially a ban. And we all of a sudden we're going to be struggling for centre halves again.
Yeah, but
I think it's
we'll have Gay by then.
We've already got Kelly
there. Hope not.
And we'll have Botman. We'll have Botman back. He's not going to get 7 yellow cards between now and
5. No, needs 5.
I thought that was one for the team.
You only need 5 yellow cards, mate.
Yeah, and I think at this rate, the likes of Joe Linton's going to be suspended in October.
Yeah, that's what I said, Joe.
I can see what you're saying.
Joe. Yeah. We'll come to Joe Linton in a minute because
he plays like this every week.
And to be fair, I understand why you did it. It was obviously, it could have been a very dangerous offensive attack to them, if you like. But with the amount of grass between their goal and our goal at that time, I think he, like I say, he's took a gamble. That's all I'm saying.
It's risk management, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Risk management. Yeah.
Lloyd Kelly, how do you think he did?
5 for me.
Okay.
I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I was hopeful and expectant that he would give us something. He's all this renowned pace that we've been told about that he would do. He didn't. There was no real errors that he made.
Yeah.
But a bit meh,
Yeah. Didn't actually set the world alight, did he?
No, not as much as I was expecting him to, especially against his own, his own
ground. Yeah. Roy?
5 as well. Nothing special, and 0 effort or 0 productivity going forward, which we missed. And Lewis Hall should start there every week from now on. But let's see. Just 5.
Okay. Rowley?
I'm a little bit more generous than Roy. I'm going to give him a 6.
Okay.
My big problem with his performances is his defending too deep and backing off too much. I don't think he did anything particularly wrong, and I don't know whether that was the instruction that he had. But I think that the change that Eddie made was the right one when he brought him off and brought Lewis Hall on.
Absolutely.
We just looked
Changed the
so
outlook
much
of the
more
game, didn't
dynamic.
it? Yeah. Amrit?
I'm going to be a bit more harsh. I mean, we've bought him. We've paid money for him. There's a
150 grand a week.
150 a week.
Okay, yeah. You know, we're paying money for him. That is a lot of money, and he's got a lot of work still to do on the training ground, I think. I agree with the comments that are flowing in. Nothing going forward, no press. For me, he's a 4.
A 4? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it is how you see it, matey. I've put him down as a 5. Made a decent start, but Bournemouth's man of the match, Semenyo, got the better of him in the end. Often putting him on his back foot, obviously stopping him then going forward because he was thinking too much of the way there. And again, this is what Connor was saying about their tactics, which obviously stopped him doing what he was told to do. If he was told to link up play down that left-hand side. And if you look, Semenyo's cross come from his side, even though he was low to the ground. I mean, you're not going to block everything, and I shouldn't really mark him down on that. But again, all I've put down is Hall offered more on the ball and added some drive in the attack when he came on. So I've got him as a 5. Nothing, spectacular. Nothing to mark him too low. But like Wynn said, I expected a little bit more of an upbeat player playing against his old side. It sometimes gives you that buzz and that drive. But he really didn't get out of his off, or out of our off, too much today. So, what did we have?
My favourite heat maps. I would love to see his heat map today. Did he ever get out of our half?
Didn't look like it.
No, I didn't see much of it.
Look.
If he did. What you're happy with? Shall I go with a 5 or a 6?
5, yeah, definitely. I mean,
5.
I'm a 4.
Most of us.
On a 4, 6, and 3 5s.
Happy with 5.
Yeah, 4, 6. That's 5, and then 5, 5, 5. Yeah.
So
surely 25. Oh yes.
Surely in Longstaff win.
Ooh.
Yet again. I mean, we were having this discussion during the game, and I'm doing what I do every week. I watch him, and he never picks a man up ever. He runs into space. Of course, the one time I said that during the commentary, the ball actually went to him. It wasn't because he didn't accept it or anything. It was just a bad pass. Went to him because he was in that space.
Is that not zonal marking though? Because that's what Eddie's.
And it's bollocks.
Eddie's a big fan of that for his defensive midfielders.
He does.
Have you seen a minute? But when the other two guys aren't playing well, it makes him look even worse than what he is. The other two normally carry him. And it didn't today. They were both
words of wisdom.
I'll give him a 4. And that's being generous, I think.
Okay. Go on then, Roy.
I'll give him 4. I've never prayed for anybody in my life more than him. Every game, I hope. I'm like, please,
I
God.
was praying as well.
Yeah, please, God, let him play good. Let him play good. And no. So it's either he's a hopeless case or my prayers are not listened to. So, shit. Can't wait till Tonali comes back or play Willock. Please, Eddie, change it. I'm like, there's thousands of people watching every week, and he still starts him, and he did that last year as well. And Willock was back, and
he didn't have a choice. Well, you could have started Willock.
Yeah, he can start Willock now, and Tonali's back Wednesday, so come on, Eddie, change it. Otherwise, it's your job gone, not us. PIF, I tell you what, PIF will be in Saudi watching.
Absolutely.
So they know he's got a Willock and all that. Yeah, 4.
4 for you, matey. Rowley?
Well, if these guys are giving Longstaff 4, it's going to be interesting to see what they give Joel Linton. I don't think Sean Longstaff was our worst midfielder today.
No.
He wasn't
Who
great.
said it's not going to be lower?
Yeah. I mean, I thought that I don't know. He got into a couple of good positions, but everyone was bad in for large portions in midfield. And he's a bit of a whipping boy. I'm not saying that I'm gonna give him like an 8 or a 9 or anything like that, but I don't think he was the worst in midfield. So I'm gonna give him a 5.
Okay.
I think you're being a bit harsh there.
Okay.
I don't remember him misplacing too many.
Well, here we go. I've talked to Wyn a few times about Sean Longstaff and how occasionally he can be the engine to helping us maintain that solid midfield. And he has done that on occasion when he has. And, pre-season against Girona, he had a great game. And, we watched him score 2 goals and, great. But today, he gave the ball away. He wasn't in the right positions at the right time. He got muscled off the ball repeatedly. And he was always the point of the person to give the ball away when we were in going for an attack, and that's just not good enough. It's not good enough. And yes, he might just be filling in until Tonali comes back. He's a local lad. We want to support him, but today he had a bad game. So 4 for me.
I'm just waiting to see your scores on Joe Linton now.
Longstaff for me, I gave him a 5, and I put virtually what you've just said, mate. To be fair, looks slow and 2-1 pace going forward. Didn't really get involved in it, even though he did a lot of legwork up and down the park. He was, because we wasn't moving the ball in the quick way into the areas that he could have gained that couple of yards, if you like, in that number 10 position, which they seem to dominate at times against us. And we didn't know how to mark. And I think that's what Longstaff was trying to do. But again, because of our wayward passing going anywhere near the forwards after the first 20 minutes, he seemed to just get slower and slower and slower going forward.
He doesn't know how to mark. That's the problem, Gary. He doesn't know how to mark.
And I put down that he was muscled off the ball easy a few times. Aside from a few nice 1-2s with Bruno, he didn't offer too much going forward. And like I say, if your role is a box to box, and when we've got possession at the time when we did, you should be offering yourself a pass to feet. And to me, he always seems as if he's got his back to play a lot of the time, looking for that ball through the middle, where sometimes all you need is to put your back to the opposition goalkeeper and receive the ball and allow play to come at you, and then link up again and move. And I don't see enough of that from Longstaff if that's his role. So I find it difficult to give him any more than a 5. So what we got in the panel, we've got 2 4s. Sorry, 3 4s and 2 5s. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
So okay, I'm going to go with the majority, and we're going to go with a 4.
Yeah.
And there's a pattern emerging here, isn't there?
Yeah, there certainly is. Bruno Guimaraes. Win.
Wow. I'll give him a 5. because he probably did as many positive things as he did negative things. But he was not the Bruno Guimaraes that we know he can be.
No.
He came into his own a bit in the last 15 when that seemed to be energy around him. But over the 90 minutes, meh. 5. No. Not enough to knock him down to a 4, but nothing to knock him up from a 5.
Okay. Roy?
Yeah, I'll give him a 5. Again, keeps the ball too long sometimes, and I don't think it's his fault. He receives the ball a lot too deep, and I wish he would receive it maybe 20, 30 meters up or just past halfway line, and we'll probably see something else. But he's carrying long stuff, and Joe Linton wasn't great today as well. So
the other thing is that because he makes himself available the whole time, he's the one player we've got who looks to make a pass for somebody who's on the ball. Some of the passes that are sent to him,
shocking.
You know, they're hard to control, and so
half the time they send the ball to him, and there's a guy right next to him, an opponent player next to him, and he has to do a little turn, and he's lost it a few times, not because it's his fault. It was the idiot passing him the ball, which is sometimes long stuff, sometimes Dan Burn, and used to be Fabian Schär as well doing it.
The thing on that is that I don't think he's fully up to speed, because he's the one player that you can play the ball to in those sort of situations.
When he's marked,
and tightly marked. But he wasn't up to speed against Southampton. I don't think he is quite there yet.
So what was your score, Roy?
Just a 5 for Bruno.
5, and yours, Rolly? Unless you got anything else to add, of course.
Yeah, I thought that when he sparked, because he started playing further forward, he sparked us when we had that spell where we got the goal and looked like we could have won. I'm actually going to give him a 6, though there are parts of his game that weren't great. I think that when we were on the front foot, he was dictating like he normally does. So I'm going to give him a 6.
Okay. Amrit?
I'd agree. I think there's times where Bruno... There's a couple of things that we need to mention about this, really. First off, he's captain. Is that a good thing? Is that affecting his performance? Is he thinking more about the leadership than thinking about just focusing in on his game? There were times where he played the wrong ball in the first half. I remember there was a free kick on just above the halfway line. Everybody got into the box and he played it sideways, and then we lost the ball. And I'm thinking, everyone made that run into the box, at least throw the ball into the box. But then he became alive in the second half, started throwing balls, it 1-2s with Joe Linton, and one like you say, 1-2 with Sean Longstaff, and started looking more dangerous. And yeah, I think overall not his best performance, but he was still there, and he is the most fouled player in the Premier League. So he picks the ball up, he holds it well, and he got fouled. I agree with the comments that are coming through about that. And I think, I really think there's two things to it. Is the captaincy taking its toll on his performance? Not sure. I think overall, I'm going to give him a 6.
Okay.
Not his best game, but
no. I think you've hit some good pointers there, mate. To be fair, you do have to question whether the captaincy is making a toll on him. Is he overthinking his game now?
Exactly.
Which is making it a bit more difficult. So that is a question mark that I've got at the end.
It's more that the team hasn't been playing well more than anything else.
But I also think, Rowley, in certain positions where we need to clear our lines, he does take a gamble now and again that, like today, he could have gone against us, big star. A couple of his tricks that he does, his turns. He was caught out a couple of times today on the edge of our D, and against better sides, that could have been detrimental. I put him down as a 6, to be fair.
He's always done that.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying to you is, in the past, he's got away with it. The last couple of games, he hasn't got away with it as many times as you want him to.
I think that again, one of the other problems that we had today is we got out-muscled quite a lot.
And I also
really
think that he draws on players to give him that foul. And like I say, a couple of times today, he went down really cheaply and didn't get the foul. And I do think sometimes he does play a little bit on the come on, get me, and bang. You know, he'll go down at the slightest touch. And today the referee was playing the game the way I look at it, the way it should be played. But you're right, he does get fouled quite a lot. So I give him a 6, and I've put down he was at the centre of most things in the opening 15 minutes while we were on top. A few stray passes, some of his tricks didn't work. He had a mixed second half, but won most of his duels, drew fouls, and was the main man trying to lick the play and create as we pushed for the equaliser. And don't forget, he almost scored with a left curling-footed shot in the top top right-hand corner, which was saved amazingly by Neto. To be fair, so he could have won us the game. So I'm not going to put him down. I think a fair shout would have been a 6 for him.
Well, because I'd forgotten about that, Gary, I'll change mine from a 5 to a 6 as well.
Yeah, and if he'd scored the overhead kick, it would have been an 8. That overhead kick, he didn't quite connect with it, did he?
Connect. That's an understatement.
Yeah,
but he could have done.
They're still looking for the ball, aren't they? In Bournemouth somewhere. Yeah. Right then, Joe Linton.
As I said, can you see a pattern emerging here already?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's before we've come on to Joe Linton.
Come on then, guys. Joe Linton. Win.
Well, here you go, right? I never, ever thought I would say this. Longstaff today was better than J7. And on the basis that I've given Longstaff a 4, I'm giving J7 a 3.
Yeah.
Because he could have cost us, single-handed, he could have cost us the game today. And on several occasions, not just the 2 that resulted in the goal and the almost goal. And I'm not talking about the non-goal. I'm talking about the Semenyo shotting in that Dan Burn managed to get out the road.
Yeah. So I'm just plugging my stuff in.
He could have cost us 2 goals today. And on top of that, like Bruno does at least a couple of times a game, he tried to do his little 180s with his fancy footwork, lost the ball, and they were upwards at us again. There was a couple of his, good, powerful runs and muscling his way through the park, which were good. But I'm going to give Joey Linton a 3. There you go.
Okay.
Never, ever thought I would say that.
Well, that's fair enough. Roy?
I was going to give him a 2, but that thing he did with that keeper at the end deserves applaud, even though it's unethical and is a twat. But I'll give him a 3.
That's good.
It was his first touch today. He's back to when he used to have that rhino first touch, when it used to bounce off his foot.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's happened to him. It's like Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah,
I think he struggles. I think he struggles with teams pressing us.
Yeah.
So he likes to play against Arsenal, Chelsea, those teams. But teams that come to rough us up, he'll struggle with it. So basically, the bottom half, he's probably more comfortable playing with the top half clubs, and not the bottom half clubs, because they'll rough him up.
Is that not can the same not be said for Newcastle in general?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
When we play better teams, we perform better.
Yeah.
And when we play allegedly lesser teams.
Or like last week when we played with 10 men, he just he carried us.
He was immense last week.
And then today it felt like he was a bit spoiled.
But
he still got a hangover.
Those points are not carrying the days.
Yeah. So that's 3 is good for Big Joe. Hopefully he wakes up next week.
Yeah, and mate. Rowley.
Oh, yeah, that was prime Joe Linton under Steve Bruce mixed in with a WWE audition at the end. And he was awful today. His passing was shocking. He gave away the ball that led to their goal. The only good part about his game is he didn't get sent off.
Yeah,
and he could have been.
He could have been, absolutely.
That was poor.
I thought that was lovely when you gave the ref a thumbs up. But again, he took one for the team there, by the way.
Yeah.
But I thought it was lovely that he gave the ref a thumbs up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
But that's 2 yellow cards in 2 games, you see, and that's what I said.
Yeah.
You keep doing it, and before you know it, you've lost somebody that could be fundamental in your side, and that's what I said. It's the silly ones that I always say. If there's no need in their penalty area, then what is the point of that? I know you keep on saying taking one for the team, but I don't know where you take
it wasn't a silly one. It wasn't a silly one.
Yeah, it was injury time, and if they scored from that, then I think he just. I mean, he would never done it if there was like 16 minutes.
He knew exactly what he was doing there. In fact, I should give him a 4 instead of a 3 because he knew exactly what he was doing.
I gave him a 3 because of that.
He, like I say, he even gave the referee a thumbs up.
Yeah.
For the yellow card.
There was a lot going on.
Fair play. It's a fair cop, Gav.
Yeah.
He's what tank?
Amrit, what's your thoughts on?
So you off the back of a man of the match performance last week, Bournemouth have obviously done their homework. They're hitting him hard. They're going straight in, closing him down, not giving him a chance. Couple that up with a poor performance on his half. Like you say, first touches, ridiculous. Takes you back to Steve Bruce. Totally agree with that. He had a very frustrating day, Joe Linton, and I think at the end, that challenge kind of summed that up. It was brilliant that he, especially that he didn't get sent off. It was really good for us. I think overall, I agree with the consensus. I mean, 3 is basically all that performance is worth, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, as daft as it looks, guys, I've given him a 3 as well. I've put down his worst game since he's developed into a midfielder under Eddie Howe. Lost the ball so often via a poor pass or loose touch, one of which led to Bournemouth's first goal. Way off, it both on and off the ball, and very lucky not to see red late on for a very high clothesline on Neto in stoppage time. From man of the match last week to a stinker this. Sorry, Joe, not good.
Sorry, Joe, but
there you go. So we're going to go with a 3 for Joe. I think that's conclusive.
And yet again, look at the pattern that's emerging.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so guys, just before we go to the attackers, please, if anybody hasn't already, smash the like button for us. And you guys, if you can, in the panel, just give us a chance to have a pause before we go to Mr. Murphy win.
Well, hang on, Roy. Just before we go to Mr. Murphy, let's have a look. There's a few things in the chat. Let's have a look at a few of the starred things in the
Go on,
chat.
then you can do that while I look at some stuff to bring up.
What
do
we've
the
done
chat.
so far, right? Wait a minute. Let's get them all in
more
because all these fine folk in the chat. It is from, by the way, when we started there. So
I have starred quite a lot with.
Yeah, quite right too. That's what it's all about. So David T, it could be just a release of emotion. Imagine your private life being played out in public. This is all to do with Trippier's, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not condoning the alleged behaviour, but it could be the reason. With the amount of training and game time Kelly has had in pre-season, how's he starting overhaul? Any other player who's been brought in before had to wait a few games before he would start.
Yeah.
Agree.
David, again, look at the first two games for me. It's a two-horse race. Look at what you've created, Masters and Co. Well, so he's blaming
is it Arsenal
Premier League for that. I'm not sure I agree with all of that, to be honest.
City and Arsenal.
Kelly 5 didn't do what I expected him to do. He was out of position several times, and for no reason, indeed.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, we'll go. El says, Bruno does what Bruno does. Bruno was constantly taken out of the game. His passing and holding was good compared to other players. 6 again. Well, that's what we give him, a 6. Would be interesting to see how many times he was fouled. Yeah, well, we can look at that. We'll probably do that before for the lunchtime tomorrow. We were lethargic and slow from the back again today. That's Brian.
Yeah.
Pedro Stocco. New name there. Hello, Pedro. Welcome. If it's the captaincy that's doing it, give it back to BDB. As I think Trips was saying his goodbyes at the end there. Well, apparently Gary's got something lined up for us to do with that, which I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Angry old knob gamer. The refs have been told to overlook the players tripping over a mouse's eyelash and to stop giving free kicks for falling over. Right, well, interesting. AG. Niall, it was a shocker performance. Barnes, Trips, Hall, Willock made the difference. Isak had a good game, but we've got that to come. Although I'm not sure if Eddie Howe was playing 4-4-2 and then switched to 4-3-3. Again, but when we come to tactics, we'll have a look at that. Niall Powell. So basically, Eddie done what he done last season, picks the wrong team with, say, Kelly left back, I assume, instead of Byrne left back, and throws on everyone off the bench to save his bacon. Pardon the Bruce pun.
That's spot on.
As Chris would say, no pun intended. When there's never been a pun there in the first place.
It reminds me of the West Ham game today.
Oh, I think I thought that was more than that. That's all there is, right? Okay, right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
If Jorinton got sent off for that, no one will.
You had the other one lined up there. You had the clothesline lined up. Oh shit! I've covered Amrit over there.
I got you muted.
Apologise, guys. There's something definitely. I've got the gremlins back in my system again tonight. I'll tell you now.
Well, we saw the clothesline, so
yeah. You've seen the clothesline, which is all that matters really. Let's put this back up on the screen, and then we can go to Murphy. So, your thoughts on Murphy's game, guys?
I'll go along with the consensus. It's somewhere between 4 and 5. Nothing, but nothing bad. He did. There was one fantastic run back he did when he broke their attack up. Other than that, almost invisible. You know, he didn't give us an out. You know, you can talk about Miggy all you want, criticize him as much as that. The one thing Miggy can do is get up that wing, past the defender, and give you an out. And Murphy hasn't got the pace to do that. No. So then, to make up for that, he had to do something different, and he didn't do that today. He did defend on a couple of occasions. Actually, I'm doing a bit of an injustice because I was 2 occasions when he got back really well, because I commented on it during the game. Got back really well and broken a tackle, but 5.
Yeah. Roy?
I'll give him a 5 as well. I mean, he grafted, but with no quality. A couple of good runs and nothing much. There was a ball that he received and he could have crossed it, but he decided to play it through to Longstaff, who was running, and then Longstaff missed it. So I was thinking, what is he doing there? So it's starting to show now that we need a right winger. So I love Murphy though, but I'll just give him a 5.
Okay. Rowley?
Again, I think he was one of the victims of the whole team performance, which, whilst he was on the pitch, was pretty poor. I don't think it did anything particularly bad or particularly good. So I'm just going to give him a 5.
Amrit?
Summed it up. Same thoughts as Rowley, really. I think he's good at running up and down. And again, as Roy says, without the final bit of quality. So again, nondescript 5 for me.
Yeah. And believe it or not, I've given him a 5 as well. Another who wasn't today. Full house of 5s. Yeah. Superb in pre-season, but offered very little here. Stray passes, making wrong choices, and was taken off before the hour mark as a result of his overall performance. So yeah, I mean, I think that speaks for itself. We'll go
and
with the 5.
Picture continues.
Yeah. Well, we said, didn't we? We've got a definite weakness.
The pattern is there for all to see
in the squad. Okay, I'm going to go to Anthony Gordon next, I think. Win.
It's a tough pick between a 4 and a 5. Actually, it's not a tough pick at all. Not a tough pick at all. It's a 5 because he scored the goal. So 5. But apart from the goal, I'm just racking my brain now. No, I've racked.
Yeah.
5. He was well below par. We shouldn't be judging him on what we expect. We should be judging him on this game. He was below par, but he got the goal. That's what the game's all about.
Absolutely.
So I'll give him a 5.
Okay. Roy?
I would have given him a 5 because he's done nothing more than Murphy did, except he scored the goal. So I'll just give him that extra point for the goal. But he looked okay on the right as well. So
food for thought.
That's a small solution for having Barnes on the left and him on the right against Spurs. Because you saw what happened when Eddie put all these players on. They played much better. So try it against
Spurs.
Yeah, we're at home. So go with Barnes and Barnes, Gordon, and Murphy.
We'll come on to that next week.
Because another reason is those lads will keep pressure on Spurs, and instead of us sitting back. So yeah, I'll give him a 6 just for the goal.
Okay. Rowley?
Well, I'm going to give him a 6. I thought that the first half, and basically when he's playing on the left in general, I think because he's getting no support going forward, He was anonymous and he looked a bit frustrated. When we made the changes and he was switched to the right, he actually looked quite dangerous. I think people still got to give him a bit of slack, the fact that he's now played, since the Euros, he's played just over 2 games of football. So he's still well undercooked. So, but again, when he made the switch, he looked a lot better and did really well for his goal.
Do you think at all, Rowley, that this nonsense that we're hearing about him having had his head turned?
No, I think
it's got anything to do with anything.
No, not at all.
No,
I mean, when he's seen what he's said about Newcastle, it's just he's undercooked. He just hasn't played. He hasn't had a pre-season. If you remember when he came to us from Everton, he was undercooked then because they don't really train them to be fit enough. He's in that sort of period.
Along with which, by the way, if you saw Diaz today for Liverpool, sorry.
That run.
Why would they want to replace Diaz?
I think, talk about conspiracy theories, he's playing like this so Liverpool won't put a bid in for him.
Oh, well, yeah, I'll go along with that, Rolly. Nice one.
That just came to mind. Maybe he's playing like this so Liverpool won't put a bid in for him, so he can then he can concentrate.
Don't worry about it. Excellent.
I think he's just not got. He's not at that fitness because he's not had a pre-season.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think there's definitely something there. Yeah. I do question these goal celebration though. Wasn't his usual pumped up self, like he usually is, and usually he's like kissing the badge and really going for it, but very subdued today.
I do love a good conspiracy theory.
Yeah. For me, I agree with the fact that he looks tired, and it's weird because it's the second game, and obviously he didn't have much of a pre-season, so he wasn't quite the usual Anthony Gordon that we've got. So for me, because he got the goal, a 6.
Yeah, okay. I've given him a 6, and if I'm honest, I originally gave him a 4 before the goal. And I've written that down. It would have been a 4 out of 10 had it not been for the equaliser, which has ultimately got us a point. Good to see him off the mark, but worrying to see how flat he looked. Even after he scored, last year he was kissing the badge after scoring. Nothing like that today. He was the heartbeat of our attack last season, yet here he was sluggish. Rarely attempted to take on his man, and I think if you look at, and I forgot his name now, their right back who they've just got from Barca, Araujo. He had him in his pocket the entire game until he swapped sides. And I've also put he didn't look up for it and created next to nothing. But obviously he got the equaliser, so you have to give him some credit where credit's due. So on the basis of that, I think we can give him a 6. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Because you guys have all said something similar, haven't you?
Yeah.
So 6 for AJ. And last but not least then, before we go on to the substitutions, Isak. What are your thoughts?
My man of the match
Isak?
by a mile.
Well, you've gone for him as the man of the match. Well, okay.
But not a brilliant man of the match. But I've got to give him 8. I thought first 15 minutes he was absolutely outstanding. You knew why every club in the world virtually is after him.
Yeah.
And unfortunately today, when he had his man of the match performance, as you can see from all of the rest of the players that were marked, there wasn't one of them on his wavelength.
No.
I think if we're not even 2 or 3 players today who'd been on that game the way he was, it would have been a completely different story. But just everybody just had a bad day at the office, except Isak.
Yeah, what he created, he certainly created himself. Yeah. Okay, good. Roy?
Agree with Win for a change. Probably best play on the pitch. If we don't get to Europe, he's gone.
Well, the same can be said for a few of them, can't it?
Yeah. So
let's not worry about that yet, because we're only 2 games into the season.
Yeah,
exactly. I know. Yeah. I'll give him a 7. He hasn't scored yet this season.
No. You're absolutely right. So you go with the 7. Roller.
7.
Yeah, I'm going with 7 as well. He had some. He had some good spells, but he's not getting the support up front. He's making the runs and he's not getting the ball.
That one. Can you remember that one run when Longstaff had the ball and Isak is saying, "Give us it, give us it, give us it," and Longstaff ran right. He's saying, "Give us it, give us it, give us it," and then he passed the ball out to I think it was Barnes at that stage on the right wing. Oh God, I was tearing my hair out. I'm getting the fucking ball, man.
What hair?
For all you Longstaff haters, I think he plays on Wednesday, but then I don't think he starts against Spurs. I think Tonali will start.
Well, I think it depends on how many minutes Tonali gets in his legs on. And also, by the way, if he performs, because we're all hoping like hell he will.
Yeah. Well, he'll certainly get. He should get 45 minutes, if not longer. That's what you're hoping. He needs at least 45 minutes into his legs before he gets calls. So let's see.
Joe Willock needs some more in his legs as well.
Yeah. What was your thoughts on Isak?
Some of the skill that he produces on the ball is just outstanding. You can watch it over and over and over again, and just marvel at it. And even when he was cutting in from the right and putting balls into the box, perfect ball for Anthony Gordon. Unfortunately, deflected over, and he was the one bright star of the show today. And at the end of the day, he's absolutely right in saying that we're going to fight to keep him on at Newcastle if we don't get into Europe. And I know it's only 2 games in. The 2 games haven't gone the way we've expected them to go, but overall, I would say 8, at least 8 for me.
Okay, cool. Isak for me, I put a 7. Isolated too often, but still managed to wriggle free at times with his long legs and tight dribbling skills. Created few chances in each half and gave Senesi a tough time when he managed to square him up and square the Argentinian centre-back up and beat him with ease twice in the first 20 minutes. Needed more service, but showed moments of total class when we did get the ball to him. But I gave him a 7. Couldn't quite marry an 8 because, like I say, I don't think he deserved man of the match because he didn't really do that much for me. He did well, but he didn't do enough for me to do the man of the match. Let's go on to our.
Who did you give the 8 to, and who did you have man of the match?
Well, I'm gonna come to that in a second, as I haven't said it yet. Let's put. So what? How many? What did you guys say? There was a couple of 7s.
There's 3 7s and 2 8s.
3 7s and 2 8s. Yeah.
3 7s and 2 8s.
Let's go with the majority then, and that's a 7.
Yeah. I think these are all being harsh, but never mind.
Well,
it's only 1.
So, go with the substitutions, if we may. They're not on the screen for obvious reasons. I can't put these guys on this app. Harvey Barnes. Win.
Well, better than anything that he replaced. Still not brilliant, but probably that one bad ball that he played with. I can't get over. I'll give him a 6 instead of a 7. 6.
Really?
Okay. That's okay. Roy?
Changed the game really, and he handled that the right back.
Rahul.
Yeah, from the
Araujo.
So and it was
Sorry,
his assist.
Araujo.
It was his assist. We couldn't cross the ball for 70 odd minutes, and then he comes on and he had a few good crosses.
Yeah,
should start next week, please, Eddie, please. So I'll just give him a 7, and I hope. I mean, I know he's better as an impact sub, but give him the benefit of the doubt. Start him against Spurs. See what happens. If it doesn't work out, then that's it. That's going to be his job from now on. Impact sub.
Rowley?
Again, I think he changed the game. We became more threatening down the left. Was it his cross for the goal?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but what? No, I'm actually going to give him an 8 because I think that he turned the game.
Yeah.
Really threatening down that left-hand side every time we went forward, especially because he had the support from Lewis Hall going forward.
Mm. Yeah. So you'll go with an 8, mate, yeah?
Yeah.
Amrit?
Yeah, I think, again, changed the game. He didn't put much of a foot wrong for me. I think he was really class player going down that side, and I think taking on players, but also cutting inside. That cross for the goal was absolutely magnificent. So yeah, I for me, it's an 8.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is my man of the match. I've gave him an 8. Gave us a consistent threat down the left side, and was the only player that seemed to make Araujo unhappy. Didn't know whether to take him down the line because he can use his left and right foot. Not only linking play, but doing the things quickly, but delivering a great cross for Gordon's goal. Went close with a left-footed shot that flew just wide of the post. Created many chances. Don't forget a couple of our near misses with headers come from also Barnes' crosses. Will surely start at Forest, I'm hoping, after a game-changing cameo. So there's my man of the match, even though he didn't play the full game. It just turned. And yes, he had support from Hall and Willock, which also helped his performance because we did overload. So I think Araujo then was struggling who to go to, which opened and unlocked the doors. And I think it may have been a different game for Gordon if we'd have done that while Gordon was still on the left-hand side. But we'll go to Trippier next, guys. Win?
Well, he was an improvement on Livramento. Didn't do wonderfully, but very, very adequately. Couple of good crosses he put in as well. And the main thing about Trips is I can't remember him wasting a single ball.
No.
Every single ball went to a black and white shirt. So I'll give Trips. I'm tied between a 6 and 7 because there was nothing spectacular, but I think I'll give him a 7.
Okay. Roy?
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. I don't know about his stats, but I think all his passes went to the right player, so it's probably 100. One of his corners almost went in.
Yeah, right underneath the bar, wasn't it?
It was a direct ball, wasn't it? Yeah, so one of them, if that went in, that would have been a classic. Yeah, love Trippier. Hopefully he stays this season at least. So yeah, 7 from me. Solid 7.
Rolly?
Yeah, well, I mean, there were 7. I thought he brought a bit of calmness to the defence. He was his delivery was good, and I think that if he does go, that's what we're going to miss. Is his delivery in the final third. But yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah. What did you, Amrit? What did you think, mate?
I've really got a soft spot for Trippier. I think he's a really good player, and I hope that this is not the last time that we're reviewing him. He scored the winning goal for the first game I took my son to, and today he came on the pitch. He didn't disappoint. His corners are world class. His delivery of the ball, world class. For me, he didn't impact the game as much as the likes of Harvey Barnes or some of the skill that Isak did. For me, it's a 7. But again, would love to see him starting week in, week out, and just popping those balls into the box for whoever to get on the back of.
Well, sadly, Gamrit, that photograph in the middle, which is the first time I've seen it,
doesn't look great.
Would tend to suggest that we're not going to see him again.
No. Really, really strange end to the game for Trips, obviously. But I put down a 7. Showed his quality on the ball with some nice pick-outs, crosses from open play and set pieces. We looked a better team, more constructive when we had balance both left and right side. But he did look very emotional at the end, waving to the fans. So watch this space. He also obviously threw his shirt into the crowd. And the lads more or less left him alone. Very much, I wouldn't say exactly the same as Gueye, but it was very similar to the Gueye situation. He went virtually up to the fans and was applauding them. It wouldn't surprise me if that was his last game, because he did come out to try and prove a point the way he played, if I'm honest. From a lad who obviously has only really had 45 minutes with the under-21s. He certainly came out to obviously change something, or step up the game, maybe prove the critics wrong, if you like. Okay, guys, moving on to Lewis Hall. What was your thoughts on Lewis Hall?
Well, if Lewis Hall had been on my 90 minutes, he would have been my man of the match.
Yep.
Because it's interesting, the 3 of you, when we're doing Barnes, 3 of you said Barnes benefited from Hall's and Willock's contributions.
Yeah.
And I thought Hall, when he came on, was absolutely flawless.
Yeah.
Flawless. And I'm going to give Hall, I would give Hall a 9, but he's not my man in the match because he wasn't on for long enough.
Right.
But Hall for me gets a 9. He's that man of the match. But Hall, for what he did when he came on, was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah. Can't fault that. Roy?
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. It's exactly what Wynn said. He should start every game now. We paid that money. He's better than Kelly on the left. Just makes sense. He starts every game.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary's gone.
I'm still here. I'm just trying to sort my camera out, because my camera.
I was talking to myself.
My camera's just come back on, so I'm just trying to sort it out in the background, guys. So I'm hoping you can still hear me okay.
We can still hear you.
From 7 for Hall, who was on my fantasy team. Not anymore.
Hey. What about your good self?
Rolly?
Still not working.
Yeah, I thought he was really good. And because he was pressing higher up, I thought they caused less trouble down our left flank. And again, in the attacking third, they had to watch for him on the overlap, and that allowed
Holly on the overlap.
Allowed Harvey Barnes more space and more time. So I'm giving a solid 7.
Okay. What?
And like Roy, I want him to start.
Just on that subject, by the way, when we're talking about Kelly, when we're doing Kelly's marks, I went onto them on the computer and got his heat map up, and he went over the halfway line. You know, like a teeny little bit of yellow there,
Right.
and I'm sure that must have been when I said during the commentary, Kelly on the overlap.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So just sorry about that, Roy. Sorry to interrupt.
What was you saying, Roland?
Yeah, Lewis Hall on the overlap, as you were saying.
Yeah, it's a 7 for me.
Yeah.
As Roy says, I wanted to start at left back because we've got so much more dynamic with him pushing forward, and it helps us get on the front foot. And I think that I can sacrifice the defensive
I think you always have to temper that with the fact that last week, when he was bombing forward, there was gaps being left behind him. So it's very much give and take.
Balancing that, isn't
it? He can get back, and though he was up and down last week, he did clear one off the line.
Yeah, absolutely. That was his one saving grace last week.
It was.
But his own, was he 19, nearly 20?
Yeah, absolutely. We all know he's going to be great. Well, at least we all hope he's going to be great.
Ahmed?
Yeah, so again, I think he came off the bench last week, didn't play too well, and he had a point to prove. His ball selection and his movement was brilliant, up and down the wing, and he knew he was. You could tell he'd been training quite hard this week because you could tell it was a different player. So for me, a solid 7. Yeah.
I've put exactly the same. Hall of 7. Added some drive and urgency to our play down the left and looked sharp after a sloppy display last weekend. Totally changed the look of the team. Linked very well with Willock and Barnes down the left-hand side and caused their defence no wonder issues. To a point where they actually had to change their system a little bit to cope with the lads on the left-hand side. A Willock win.
I'm sort of wavering between a 6 and a 7. One really good run. Good run down the left. Came in typical Willock fashion, it came to nothing. He did all the hard stuff, and just couldn't quite convert that into a chance. But he did nothing wrong. Go on, we'll give him a 7. We'll be generous.
Okay. Roy?
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. He looked sharp when he came on. So hopefully, maybe start him or give him some minutes against Forest, but definitely start him against Spurs and have that trio that we had 2 years ago: Joe Linton, Bruno, and Willock in the middle.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, we had Longstaff as well.
Yeah, we did. That was when Willock was playing left wing instead of goal.
Left wing, yeah.
Yeah. Rowley?
I think he needs a bit more gas in his legs. He's not played for a long time. But there were signs of the Joe Willock we love with some of the driving runs. He's thinking, God, we missed that.
Yeah.
So,
aggression with the ball.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 6. There's signs that he can get back to where he was in the Champions League qualification season. He's yeah. I think he needs more minutes. So maybe you get a start against Forest, then come off.
I think you can say that about a few of the players, can't you? They need more minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Amrit?
Look, I think all of our subs made an impact. You know, looking at Joe Willock coming in, what is he? He's celebrating his 25th birthday recently. He's still a young player. He's got, you know, a lot in him, and you could see that today. His hunger's there, and I agree with Roy. I want to see more of him in the next few games. Whether he starts against Forest or not's another question. Whether he gets a few, you know, a half in, and then starts against Tottenham. He brought an element of attack into us. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go again with a 7.
Okay. I gave him a 6, and I put down still finding his best form and match sharpness. Did make some amazing progressive runs through the middle, looked like his old self. But the challenge on his ankle seemed to slow him down, and he went completely out of the game for 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, where he stayed more on the left side between Harvey Barnes and Hall, and didn't really get involved too much in the middle of the park. So that obviously took a little bit out of him. He's probably still worried about his Achilles tendon that he's obviously had. He's just got over. But we did look more of a threat down the left after he came on, along with Hall and Barnes. So that is the overall.
We had one more sub.
Well, we did. I said that's the overall thing, because we had Almiron on for 3 minutes, and he touched the ball once. So I've put that as not applicable, to be fair.
I'll give him
one touch, one accurate pass.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll give him a 2. One for the touch and one for the smile.
I just think sometimes it's really hard to be harsh on a player who's only got. You can't mark him to play 2 minutes. But like
hold on, you just to my studio. You moved out your bedroom into my studio.
Yeah, I thought we should top and tail tonight, if I'm honest. So I'm just going to put up on the screen again, if I may, the final result. And when you were saying about there's a pattern going on, and you can explain away what you believe the pattern to be, with what we've got on the screen now. So as we can see, we've got very little on the left-hand side in marks.
But
if you go across to
the pattern is, it's not rocket science. 6, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, and that's a push.
Yeah, I agree
just
with
had 11 players who were not at the office today.
Yeah.
It was a poor performance.
But what I was going to say, if you look at the pattern, and I've said from day one that we aren't strong on the right-hand side anyway. We're very limited on the right-hand side with who we've got. But if you look down the spine of the team, where all the highest marks are, that's where your strength is. And that's what I said. And when other teams have an off day, other players have an off day, you're still relying on this team to produce something.
And then just out of interest, Gary, if you look at the right-hand side after the substitutions, and the left-hand side after the substitutions.
Yeah. So I'll tell you something now. When Joe Linton moved across to the right-hand side, and you had Joe Willock come into obviously Longstaff's position.
Yeah.
And then obviously you had Gordon.
Joe Willock. We give Joe Willock. How many did we give Joe Willock?
We gave Joe
Seven.
Willock a
6 or 7.
A 7. So we had a 7 on the left there.
So we had a 7
Kelly off,
comes into here. Yeah, and we had a 7 again.
and then you had Lewis Hall there. Goes to a 7.
Yeah. And then you
On
had
the left-hand
my man of
side,
the match was an 8.
we had Barnes, who was 8 or 7, regardless, better than the 5. And the reason Gordon got the 6 instead of the 5 was because of his goal, which came from him being on the right-hand side.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it does make a massive difference, doesn't it, when you put it into that context, because you can see your strengths and weaknesses, and how the bench for the first time in a long time can actually make a difference to the team, because you don't very rarely.
It also says someone else, because it says what he did was absolutely right. We could have won the game with what he did.
Are you away from your mic? That's better.
But how long did it take him to do that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you.
He should have done that when we were a goal down. And I've said all along this season, what I want to see is Eddie being more proactive. We could all see after the first. But okay, listen. After the first 12 minutes, we were controlling the game. But from 12 till for the next 12 minutes, let's say, it switched. And all of a sudden, they were dominating and we were struggling. That continued for another 12. And another 12 till half time.
Yeah.
So, at the very least, half time should have been when he made the changes. And he didn't. Sooner. He kept on going. 45, 55. We're still getting dominated.
What was it, 65 when he put them
and
made the subs?
When the first changes were
made. 57 was the first one.
Okay.
The first one.
Okay, 57. So that's another 12.
Something like that, was it? No, that was the game, was it?
Enough time for the equaliser, but not enough time for the winner.
Yeah.
I'm you know me, I've been 1000% behind Eddie. And I thought this season, now that we've got a better squad, more rotational possibilities, this is when we'll see what he can do. This is when we'll see how good he is.
Yeah.
And if we were coming on the marks, I don't know if you're going to watch Eddie Howe.
Losing your mic. Yeah.
Marks for Eddie Howe. 3 out of 10 for me today.
3 out of 10 for Eddie Howe today.
Those changes should have been made after half an hour at the latest.
You're not going to change a team after half an hour.
No, agreed. Half time maybe, but
maybe, but 10 minutes into the second half, if it's not going, you could
at least Kenny
use half time to reorganize and try and reset.
I think when Eddie was on. Sorry,
Jose Mourinho making changes after 20 minutes.
I've seen that before.
Yes. And successful changes, by the way.
Yes, I think in a post-match interview as well, Eddie Howe's explaining what the game was, how we were dominant to start with, and then we dropped off. Why did we drop off? What did he do? At half time, I even said on the watch along, I said, Mad Dog should be going mad, and Eddie should be giving them a rollicking at half time, because we dropped off the pace, and to be fair with you, we came out and nothing changed until we got those new legs on. So what does he do? He's got to make. I agree. He's got to make those changes earlier. You spot a problem, solve it. Give the players time to get that winner. Unfortunately, we didn't.
That's what elite managers do.
Yeah.
And yet, even in the post-match interview, you know, what happened after the first 15 minutes of change? And he didn't say, we stopped being able to pass the ball, we started giving the ball away, we started losing the ball needlessly. Now, if he didn't say that, that's worrying. Yeah. For me, that's worrying. If he couldn't see that the reason we started losing the game was because we suddenly weren't putting 3-yard, 5-yard passes together, if he's not saying that and therefore can't say that to the interviewer,
yeah. Well, you could see
that's
him and Mad Dog. You could see him and Mad Dog having a conversation, couldn't you? Well before half time, there was like 10 minutes before half time. It was, we're pointing issues out on the park. The biggest problem is like I say,
right. So if they're doing that, you're saying they did that before half time.
They did, yeah.
You're not going to slate the guys off. And you're not going to slate the guys off to the press. You do that behind closed doors. I'm sure what they're doing wrong. I don't have a problem with them not saying that in the press interview. I mean,
absolutely right.
The timings.
But I mean, there was a potential, and this is what we keep seeing with Eddie. It's a constant pattern with Eddie, where he looks at the 60-minute mark before he even thinks about a change. And yes, today it was a little bit sooner, but it's around them minutes. And yeah, I agree. I think sometimes when you know whatever you're trying isn't working, you need to change. You need to make something happen. And like I said, when you brought in, Hall, Barnes, and Willock, all of a sudden their system that, to a degree, were bullying us out of position, didn't work anymore. We had them on the back foot, and I think that's where the pressure, that continued pressure, eventually got us the goal. And it could have quite easily got us the winner because, like I say, if it wasn't for Neto, with a couple of really good saves, we would have found the net once, twice, maybe another 3 times. Because there was some...
We needed 10 more minutes.
AJ saying there, he was probably waiting for the half-time team talk, thinking, okay, I'll give it 10 minutes before a change. By the way, that 10 minutes, I think it was on 49 minutes, wasn't it? When Alanu could have scored again.
Yeah, possibly something like that. Yeah. And that's what I said.
Waiting for that, it needed to be changed there and then for me.
I mean, the way I look at it is that he's gone in, he's got them in at half time, he's told them what to do, what they're doing wrong, and he's got to give them a chance to put it right. When he sees it's not working, 10 minutes in, he makes the changes. So I think that's perfect.
Well, it wasn't 10 minutes in, no, man. It was 20 minutes in there was Thomas.
It was like 55, 57 minutes. 10, 12 minutes in the second half.
That was the one. That was Murphy, wasn't it? That got taken off.
Wasn't it Murphy and Longstop?
Yeah.
Hold on, guys, because we've still got 42 starred here in the chat. How many did you get down with when you were doing them? Did you take any of the stars off?
I think I unstarred most of the ones that I showed. I hope I did.
Okay. Well, that's okay, just so I know which one we're doing. Mighty Mag has put down Geordie TFL. I've kept off Twitter. I've got a good idea. What
all right. Like. These are from this very, very start, I think. But, carry on.
Hells has put down the only good players were those that come on as subs. The game changed massively when they did come on.
Yeah.
Yep. I totally agree with that.
We all agree with that. And the point I'm making is that all happened too late.
Yeah,
I disagree.
The one thing I was looking for from Eddie this season, when we've got a proper squad, where you had loads of options on the bench. And so the one thing listen, I am Eddie's biggest fan. But the one thing I was really looking forward to this season was when he's got options, he will use them.
Yeah.
And to me, today, he was far too late in using them.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to have to
What?
agree.
No, because Rolly disagrees.
Let's do the chat, guys. Yeah, let's do the chat, guys, because we've got
Half time. That's
we
what it
have
should have
got
been.
Come
so
back,
far
you, Rolly.
behind. JJ has put down, although I was frustrated with J7 and others all getting closed down and losing possession, I'm not worried. We're not up to speed. Chill. Yeah, it's only the second game,
I
guys,
agree
I
with that
suppose.
as well, actually.
Yeah. David T, can you imagine if the Toons have a centre-back lined up, kept Palace waited until deadline day, then dropped the bombshell on them? Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Can
be
you imagine
nice.
that? Yeah, absolutely. It would be nice. Those aren't
That was the
pillows.
one we were
Crucial
talking
5
about
days
yesterday.
coming up.
We're going to be doing this on the breakfast show. Is it Kamakin? Because he looks a bit of a player.
He looks, yeah, he does. Crucial 5 days coming up. Current squad 7th again at best.
Nah, I disagree with that.
John Shaw, happy with the points today. We had some decent moments, but haven't quite clicked yet. We could have won today, but also definitely lost. Dodgy decision with goal, but their keeper had a blinder.
Well, I don't agree with everything about that apart from the dodgy decision with their goal.
Totally agree with you.
Yeah. Imagine no more signings coming. Well, let's see where we go with that. Joe Linton, if the club are going on about top 4 is the aim, then we need to sign players, centre-back, right wing, a minimum. Yep. As we've been saying for how long?
That's what everybody's saying, of course.
Hi, guys. This was how dropping 2 points from Jens. I think it was a point one, if I'm honest.
I think it's a point gained,
Point stolen.
Yeah, it was
point stolen.
It was a smash and grab.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know about stolen, but
don't say things that might end up coming back to bite you. I don't know what that was about. But Joe Linton, if you want top 4, you should be beating these type of teams.
I think he's saying beating mid-table teams. But hey, who's to say Bournemouth?
Well, they finished 10th last season. They finished 10th last season. So, and they're a strong squad this size.
It's an improvement from last year.
You have a right to beat teams. Every game is difficult unless you're playing Sheffield United last season. Every game is in the Premier League.
Absolutely.
Any away point in the Premiership is a fantastic
point.
Premier League. Who it goes on about it? Any
point we got today isn't the point that gets us Champions League.
Exactly. Any away point is a fantastic point.
Yeah, exactly. Jonathan Shaw said again, should be no negativity. It's a solid start to the season, and it's onwards and upwards in my eyes. Also, every match is a much win. That's must-win match in Eddie eyes, no matter when it is in the season. Yeah, and like I said, you were.
Well, maybe except Bournemouth, because he doesn't have a good record against Bournemouth.
We should beat them at home.
Everybody saw the goal
maybe that's
coming.
why he left it a bit late. I will give them a point.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody saw the goal coming at min 25. Howe waited until 58. This is the mark of a clueless man. So he's supporting Wynn's idea.
I disagree with the clueless bit.
No, clueless, stubborn.
Mag, it's embarrassing, mate. It just shows how much football knowledge they have. Zero. I'm not sure who that's aimed at, buddy.
I think it's
that was aimed at the ones poo-pooing Eddie Howe, I think.
NUFC, did you say that before the ball was kicked because most fans I saw before liked the lineup? Well, we all said
I like the lineup. Absolutely right.
A strong lineup.
I didn't.
There should be no issues, really. You didn't like it, Roy?
No, Roy wanted Lewis Hall.
Lewis Hall.
That was a surprise, I must admit. I didn't expect Kelly to play.
I thought they might put Kelly in at centre half instead of Kraft.
Yeah, well, that's what I would have tried if they was going to make a change. I don't know why they went with that. To be fair, because it didn't work at all.
I had a private argument with Chris about this because I said, what is possible is to play Lewis Hall left back, Kelly left centre back, Crawford, and he says, well, why would you not play Danburn? So Kelly left centre back, Byrne right centre back, and then either Trips or Gino. It says because left centre backs can't play right centre back. And he wouldn't. He said, "That's centre backs. That's centre backs. They can do what they want." You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have got a strong side and a weaker side, and I think that's proven. And there is still guys out there that can do both left and right. Without, I mean, when I was a kid, there was no such thing as a left-footed centre back.
Who can do right centre back and left centre back, just like that?
Well, I just said when I was a kid, there was no such thing as a
no. You're saying that centre backs there who can do both. Name one.
All of them
Van
can.
Dijk.
It's whether they're comfortable to do it.
Van Dijk, Vidic.
But they can all play across the back line. It's who's comfortable doing
Rio
it.
Ferdinand. Go on and on and on.
By the way, Amrit's a closet Man United fan.
No, I'm not.
Rio,
as you can see. Come on.
Ferdinand.
I was a Ronaldo fan. There's a difference. I was a Ronaldo fan. I enjoyed his work ethic. Yeah.
Davey T, Tripp showed today he's still a model professional. If he stays, I for one hope he does. I'd be happy.
Well, definitely.
Sadly, I mean, I would
definitely.
love to stay, but I don't think
definitely.
One more this season.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
photograph that Gary showed there, I think that's.
If you want to reach objectives of success, surely every match is a must-win mentality. Yeah,
but you can't win every game.
You play every game like a cup final.
Yeah, I think Eddie's set sight to win every game.
Don't do that, I will lose every one.
We just look unsettled, like the team is either unbalanced or is unsure of its defensive ability, which stifles us going forward. And I think we saw or we shown from Keith. He reported when they were up at Benton, where they were obviously doing a different technique, trying to do some muscle memory, where they were pushing forward, marking a mannequin, and then obviously dropping back as if they'd lost the ball, because obviously they're very aware of the ball over the top that beat us regularly last year, and he's tried to correct that. Now, for me, this could be a case of they are still trying to correct and get that management in their head, because they looked all over the place to a degree today. So there is a potential that it's a new tactic that they're still trying to work on away duty. These aren't pillows. Nobody knows the future, so it's basically say we will be a good position. Xmas is ridiculous. Difference is, I think we will struggle. I might be wrong, but you think you are right already. Well, everybody's got their opinion. But and like I say, none of us have got a glass ball in front of us. We only go on the players that we've got to play. And if you look at the squad that we've got, we've finished 4th and 7th respectfully. So you expect to be around there again, as there hasn't been many changes. But
that's a problem, though, isn't it? We haven't signed.
It's it's expectation as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We should.
We've talked about this before, though, about that we needed. Well, I personally think we need at least 2 or 3 good signatures this window to keep our momentum, and we haven't had them yet. And Wynn saying, "Oh yeah, just relax, it'll come, calm down." Listen up, you know what it is? January was the same. Yeah, we got 4 days. 4 days.
No, in the chat, the first window that since the takeover, they bought in Bruno, Byrne, and Target in the last 2 days of the window.
Okay, I hope. Yeah, Rory, I hope you're right.
I think
I really do.
That when you look at the first 11 that we have, it's difficult to get players that are going to improve that.
Agreed.
Which is why that's part of the reason it's taking so long is because of the pool of players they're looking at. The other part is because you had all those summer tournaments, which makes it so you don't just lose them for the tournament, you lose them for the extended holidays afterwards as well.
Totally agree. Yeah. But you know what? It would have been nice to have the players in doing a pre-season and gelling with the team.
In an ideal world, that's what would happen.
Yeah.
It very rarely happens.
No.
And you see the teams that have been buying a lot of players, the players they're buying wouldn't improve our first 11.
Steve NUFC has said, other than the goal, Gordon was pretty much anonymous. Okay. Can agree with that. Geordie Team for Life, these are pillars. I didn't say anything like that. I said, come back at Christmas and we'll chat. Thank you. Oh, they're having an individual chat amongst themselves. A little bit of a debate. What's Chris say? He pushed it in, man. Great goal, but overall he wasn't there. He didn't play good, man. I don't understand why it's so hard to say that. I think he's talking about Gordon.
Gordon's goal.
Yeah, I think we got lucky with the second goal with being disallowed, Ian says. Well, it's in the rule book. It's handball, so. Jamstasher, happy we've got 4 out of 6 points. Disappointed with how the team performed over the 2 games. Yeah, we can only go forward and upwards, I'm hoping. These aren't pillars. One question. What is defensive when you read an opinion and you don't agree with? People have different views, but the happy clappers like yourself certainly get more wound up than those who
that's still.
I think I'm the only happy clapper.
I don't know who started these, but I mean, here we go.
They're talking to each other in the chat.
Yeah. Nothing to do with Gordon being off. It was the spine of the team. That's the issue. Burn, dilly-dally, Kraft, and 2 shocking midfielders, Lungy and J7. Well, like I said, we've seen the average scores were.
What have I missed there? Dilly-dally?
Yeah, I think he was obviously a bit disappointed with the way we conceded the goal, and it could have been.
I thought one of the players had a nickname Dilly-dally.
No, right, okay. That's another chat amongst themselves, so I'm going to unstar that. There you go. Pedro Stocco, it's just above the elbow. Simples, never mind the shoulder.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
But they will be back sooner rather than later, and of course we need players in, and I'm certain the club will bring players in.
Hey, GTFL, that's me and you on the same wavelength.
Really hope you're right.
All I have to say is after the first 2 games is get Mighty win and knock on Paul Mitchell's office door to see if he's still breathing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has gone missing for a bit, hasn't he?
He's out there, he's like a swan.
I think actually,
Hope has saved us.
When we don't sign, as we haven't been able to sign anyone, people seem to think that they're doing nothing. It's all just waiting for Crystal Palace to come back. So we're doing stuff behind that we don't see. It's just
absolutely
the type of player we're going for is difficult to bring in.
Rolly, it's pointless signing, as you well know. Signing anybody is not going to solve anything. You've got to sign the right people. They've got to be better than what we've got, and that's difficult because we've got a bloody good squad.
I'm just looking at the comments. I mean, it's saying, on the right wing, we've got Murphy and Almiron. Is it difficult to sign somebody better than Murphy and Almiron?
No,
yes,
it's not.
Because the number of players that you're looking at that are better is small. Then it's then you've got to get the players to want to come. You've got to get the clubs to want to sell them. And the money they're going to cost.
Rolly, yeah, fair enough. But can you name 15 players off the trot that are better than Murphy and Almiron? 15,
probably not. Not that are available.
Well, again, the word available is used loosely.
Define available.
Exactly. Yeah.
Available. Available is one. The club they're at wants to let them go. And they are.
If we went to Bournemouth tomorrow and said, "There's 50 million plus a menu," we would get them.
They'd have to take it. They would have to take it. And the thing is, we can do that. We're ready to part with 65 for Mark Gay. And at the end of the day, is he worth that much? Again, that was a topic that we talked about earlier on. Okay, he had great games in the Euros. That's great. But, other than that, is he a world-class defender? Is he going to, for us to break our transfer record on somebody who's had a good Euros, because the rest of them were
I
pants.
think you're spot on, Amrit. Spot on, because what I say is there's at least 15 right wingers who we could get right now who would be an improvement on Murphy and Almiron.
The other thing you've got
I do not believe that the club are not looking at them and putting pieces in place to get them.
Just looking at my watch, again, 4 days. 4 days.
There's plenty of time.
That's only because it's just gone on a Monday.
It's not yet.
Well,
it's Monday. It's Monday here.
We've got 5 days.
Say it's Monday. It's Monday where he is.
Transfer deadline day in Sam Allardyce.
Yeah, let's finish the chat, guys, because we've still got a few to get through. Jonathan Shaw, just compare Eddie's post-interview with Steve Bruce, like night and day. Eddie's honest and says it how it is. We're lucky to have him. Yeah,
correct, Jonathan.
Geordie Tune for Life. Oh, it's another one that they're chatting amongst themselves. I'm going to undo that one. It's easy to point Eddie's mistakes. In hindsight, Eddie didn't have that benefit, and he picked the best team he thought for the job, and that's all you can do based on everything he's seen in the week.
I was quite happy with it. I was quite happy with the 11 you put out.
Yeah. The 2 games have shown Murphy and Longstaff are squad players, cameo appearances in cups, and running the clock down. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they ultimately will be.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's what's going to happen.
Tonali. Yeah.
Tonali's eligible now, and then when we get a right winner in.
I think you've already done that one, haven't you, Win?
That's
saying about the release of Mo. Yeah. Niles come in with the amount of training and game time Kelly has had his pre-season. How is he starting over Hall? Any other player who has been bought before had to wait a few games to start.
We did that one before.
That's true, except that he's played against Bournemouth, so he's played against players that he's played against regularly in training sessions.
And Eddie knows him from Bournemouth as well.
I forgot about Trips. Gonna have to go outside in the cold and whip myself. Trips defo 8. Yeah, absolutely.
We're getting down to the marks bit now.
Yeah. Sounds like Win is doubting Eddie, and he may be right.
Well, I've said my colours have been firmly on Eddie's mat throughout all the doubting periods, and still are. But I have said if we are not within 3 points of Champions League at Christmas, with the start we've got, he's got to go. Simple as.
There's a couple at you here, Win. Predator. Win, Giwawa. You can't start hooking players after 20, 30 minutes. You have to at least wait until half-time and then look at the changes. All you're doing is destroying players' confidence doing that.
Half-time would be fine. Half-time would have been fine, though, Gary.
Disagree. Top managers, top coaches make changes. I've seen... when was Georgia taking off Atletico Madrid? 18 minutes. 18 minutes took him off.
Yeah. There's a lot of
changed the game, won the game. But Atletico against
Pep did it. Pep did it last season. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if those changes were made at half time, 45 minutes clean.
Well, even
what would the score be? Yeah. What would the? We'd probably get the winner. We'd probably get the winner.
Yeah. 10 more minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we needed.
Predator again. He gave them a chance to change things at half time. Nothing had to be start making changes at 10 minutes into the second half.
But he didn't start making changes 10 minutes in the second half.
It was 57, wasn't it? So
it was beyond that.
60, 64, yeah.
But then obviously the rest of them started to come on, as he always does. Stephen saying, "No, Derek, I thought Byrne was slow on the ball and put himself under pressure from the press, and same as J7 and Longstaff. too many back passes. Yeah, there
Which
was
is
a
what
bit
I'm saying,
strange today.
Steve.
Yeah, there was.
The whole
I
team
am
was
sick of that
committed.
back passing as well.
Yeah.
The
There
whole
was a lot of
team was
50-50 balls today, I thought. Benjamin, Ben, it's not that difficult. Sign Buemo, sign Semenyo, etc. Those would be perfect for us and definitely better than what we've got.
And there's two of
Totally
the
agree.
15 that Amrit's on about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, there's loads of people in the chat, but what I am going to do, just so I cover my bum here, I'm going to put on a little cameo of, and obviously I have to be careful what I put on because
Oh, you better be careful, by the way.
copyright. Okay, so this here, as you can see, is the J7.
Oh, it's a goal.
No, this is the J7 yellow card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it. I'm going to take the sound off. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to stop it, and I'm just going to show you something. So at the minute you can see 4 shirts, correct?
4 white shirts, 5 red.
5. Now watch.
Yep.
Stop. Now, how many white
5.
shirts to how many red shirts do you see?
5
6
and 7. 5 Newcastle, 7 Bournemouth.
Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I see. Can you see that?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I can
Because
see
you've got
that.
2
No.
players there.
There's one up
What you
there.
can't
there's
see is
one
to the
behind
right.
that,
Okay, that was one.
Right. Now,
But
now watch.
Hopefully we will see to the right.
Watch.
That's
Stop.
it.
No, there's another player. So that's the 9th player on the edge of his box. How many players are up front for him to aim at? And
What
how
you
many
can't
players
see
have
is
we
where
got
our-
defending
What
it?
you can't see there is where our players are.
You've
Either
still
on
got
the right-hand
4.
side of the
You've
pitch
still got 4
or
behind
the
the ball.
left-hand side of the pitch.
It depends. They could be on the wing, and
It
not
doesn't
only
matter
that.
where they are. It doesn't matter where they are. When they've got
Uh,
9 players in defence in defending their own box, and we've got 4 to 5. This is our 5th player down
No,
here.
that's what you don't see on the telly.
No, but I can see the numbers win. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
That was
see
a
the numbers.
frustration move, though, Gary.
Of
It was
course
a
it was.
frustration move. He had a horrible day at the office.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's had a horrible day at the office.
He's threw his arm round his neck.
I reckon if he'd thrown that ball out, it'd probably gone to the left wing, and we had nobody there, and he'd seen that. And the trouble is, you don't see that there.
No, you
look at
don't
that
see
face.
it, Darwin. But what I'm trying to say to you is, you've still got 4 defenders to 1 player. Now, if 1 player is going to go and beat 4 players, and don't forget,
them
guys
those
are still in the
4
penalty area.
players are.
Well, they're not in the
Those
screen,
4
so they've got to
players
be on
could
the
on
halfway
other
line.
side of the pitch.
Well, we're not going to be able to, unless we get the
You're not
proper
gonna want to do
footage. We're not going to be able to prove it. But I think looking at his face and the way in which he was playing, he was just lashing out.
And he put
That's what he was
thumb up.
doing.
Thank you, I'll take that.
Yeah, I know. He was lashing
that's what
out.
I'm
He
saying.
said, more than saving the team from a goal. I think he was more than anything just lashing out because he'd had a horrible day. Yeah,
Absolutely,
No,
absolutely.
I
But that
think
could have
he
been
took
another
one for the
player
team.
that we can't pick for 3 games. It's daft. Look, for a stupid move like that. That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
And these are
I
the
think
things
he
where
looked
players.
and seen the outlet that the keeper had and said, "Whoa, back."
Oh, yeah, he's good. There's one player up there. I'm so worried about our 4 or 5s that ain't going to beat him. Oh, come on, win. I mean, like I said, that is just pure frustration because he'd had an absolute stinker.
Well,
And again, it's 5.
we'll argue
that's
this tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, it's
Does
2
make
cards
sense.
in 2
Yeah.
games. It's 2 cards in 2 games. That's what I'm saying. And he's been one of our strongest players. And
Well,
that's what I
yeah,
said.
no.
We
Today
just
he
can't
wasn't.
afford. Not today, he wasn't. No, I said
No,
one of our
overall.
strongest
He's
players.
been one of our strongest players in one game.
Well, you saying he wasn't strong last season?
I'm saying in one game.
No, I'm saying as a collective, we all say J7 must be in the middle of the park. That's what everybody keeps telling us.
The one player that I would hate to lose. You can lose either.
Yeah, you-
lose Gordon, lose and Bruno,
Yeah.
lose J7.
Well,
Don't get me wrong. If that was on the halfway line and they were breaking, I would say all day, take one for the team, but not there.
Yeah.
Not at that. Especially what he did. that was no way that should have materialised at all.
We'll agree to differ.
Anyway,
we'll have this out tomorrow.
Absolutely, exactly. Anyway, boys, I understand the time is getting on. Thank you all so much. Again, we've gone 2.5 hours doing the review, and again, it's been really interesting to see that we've all got very similar on the scores without knowing what everybody else's opinions were. And even in the chat, I didn't see much variety in the chat. I do understand there's a lot of frustration out there, and I understand that there's a lot of people that are just venting it on social media and just don't rise to it, guys. Again, it's a different game on Wednesday.
Right, the J7 rugby tackle at the end was crap. But that keeper was rushing out to throw or kick the ball. So the keeper saw something and was playing out quick. And J7, or he's saying J7 just but obviously he saw something, and so did J7. So J7 said, I'm not having any of that part. Thank you, referee.
Risk management.
He saw one player.
Risk management, exactly.
Risk management. You know, by then we'll have Tonali back, and hopefully,
I look forward to Wednesday. Wednesday's going to be
great.
Oh, hello.
I'm going, man. I'm going.
Oh, he's in and out.
No, he thinks he can just come in now. Nah.
Oh man!
Put in jail right now. You're put in jail, man. The amount of shite that I've been hearing you talk all day, and I just have to sit because I promote freedom of speech in football. But the amount of shite that I have to listen from you, man, I have to hear from you, it's unbelievable, man. I just cannot believe. Right, center backs can't play on the left, on the right anymore because I just don't understand. You've been watching football since you've been watching football since the beginning of the time. We were West End, East End when you were watching a football. Started watching Newcastle. Biggs, by the way, shout out. You sent a super sticker not too long ago. You sent a question as well.
Your name as well. Hello, Biggs.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, man. But I had to come on. I had to come on because people were asking me to come in and just just spread some justice, man, because this is unbelievable.
No, I kept you out deliberately because you're talking shite as usual.
Oh man! But Biggs got a question for you, man. The least you can do is answer it.
Yeah.
You keep saying we got a really good squad. If that is the case, why are we not beating teams like Bournemouth?
Teams like Bournemouth. Biggs, where do you think Bournemouth are going to finish this season?
15th.
It doesn't matter, man.
As a team, where will Bournemouth?
They're going to be fighting relegation almost at times. Some people might say that.
Well, you're saying relegation. I tell you what, I'll have any bet you want that Bournemouth.
But they're not going to be. They're going to be fighting mid-table. That's what they're going to be.
Bottom half. 15.
I say 12 to 13. I say
the signings they've made. They've lost Solanke, they've lost Kelly, but the signings they've made are very, very good. Bear in mind today they had Huijin on the bench, who they signed from Juventus, who we were after as our replacement right centre half. We were linked with him recent. They've signed him. They've signed the kid from Leeds. With the multi-syllable name, who I can't think of. They've signed.
Well, they're moving forward.
Even Nelson, Brazilian international under 23. The chairman, as Chris explained, not Chris, Craig from Bournemouth, who was on the show on Thursday, the Cherries fan. They are really, really. He says he doesn't think they'll make it this season, which was a very measured thing. But he says he reckons with their Foley, they will be challenging for Europe next season. They're going to do a Brighton. There you go.
Okay, well, we're going to leave that for Bournemouth Talk TV. We're Newcastle Talk TV, and they're a low-table team. They're going to fight for mid-table. Come on, man. Stop playing. We should have beat this team. We played horrible. Eddie made mistakes. He's going to have to learn from it. Simple as that. But you got to call it for what it is. People are talking about the takeover. Every time we lose like this, people talk about the takeover. People talk about, Mike Ashley. Man, get over them, man. Get over that. We talk about now. We got to finish. We got to finish a Champions League position at least, man. If not, it will be blasphemy. And look, I understand. I'm not gonna go into too much. Thank you.
That's the jail fund.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, we'll take it. We'll take you out because that's the rule. But and I know Rolly's got to go to sleep. Probably, you're talking all that shit. Rolly's falling asleep over there. So I apologize, Rolly.
I think we've all got to start looking at the
Thank
time.
you, Queenie.
Yeah, thank you, girls. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you'll cover it tomorrow and tuck some more shot in at midday.
Yeah. Bring it on.
That's it. He's out of here. I've had enough.
Anyway, guys, we're gonna have to call it days because I am gone and my family are trying to get to bed. Excuse me. So I want to thank you. I'm going to say I bet you're knackered. Thanks to everybody that has put in the super stickers, and Betsy obviously for getting Win out of jail.
Queenie, not Betsy. Queenie.
Sorry, Queenie getting Win out of jail. And again, thanks to all the guys in the panel. Win, Roy, Rowley, Amrit, thank you so much for coming on board. Please feel free. Jump on again when we are available, or when you are available, I should say. Everybody in the chat, thanks ever so much for the contributions. Amrit.
Chris.
That's Chris. Yeah, in the background. I can't mute. Oh, I can mute him. I'll not mute him. I'll let him shout.
Exactly. And again, thanks to everybody that's watched. You have all contributed to a great show. And like I say, sorry it's gone on a little bit long, but these always do when people are voicing their opinions. Thanks to all the mods. And again, once again, thanks for the super stickers and the monies. Guys, please, before you go, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We do 7 days a week, similar things. So thank you all. Thank you all, the panel. It's a good night from everybody.
And it's
So
a good
night
night.
Remember to hoof the twat.
Yeah, indeed.
Remember to hoof the twat. Tuesday night, 10 o'clock.
Let's do it.
Hoof the twat when you're under pressure and you've been pressed by the other team trying to pass it to each other at the back. That's when you hoof the twat.
Watch it again. 88-20. Joey Linton. I was blaming Anthony Gordon because I saw the blonde there. Was Joey Linton. Why he didn't just put the ball in the touch. Another story.
Another story. Guys, again, thank you so much, everybody. And I will see you all. See you tomorrow at midday win. See you all again tomorrow night if you're around, Roy. Guys, see you on the next one. Amrit and Roland.
Away the lads.
Good night. Away the lads.
Take care, all.